Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to another episode of Ball Chat, where we discuss the week's major news in the world of football, aka soccer. I am one of your hosts. My name is Benton, a part of the Ball Chat family. Come on, how are you doing? Wagwan, how was your week? Come on, how are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Just a little bit cold. It's crazy. The weather is just ridiculous.
Yes. It's a bit chilly. It's chilly here, but overall, how was your week? Otherwise, we had some pretty sad news. Junior is away this week, football family. But overall, how was your week in terms of football wise? How was it?
It's sad because as Jamaica's top goal scorer, Luton Shelton, he passed away at the age of 35. I mean, was one of Jamaica's most prolific goal scorers. So he's well known. He represented us he was in Norway, in England, he went to Russia, in Sweden. So he was one of those players that kind of held the flag high for us and represented us well on and off the pitch. So, it was really sad that, we lost him this week. He had ALS and it really deteriorated, his quality, but he was still loved by everyone. And the one thing that I've learned, I mean, if this is not a lesson to say that we should live good, we should live life to the fullest, and we should do our best at all times. Our heart goes out to his wife Bobette and all his kids and his family members. But it was really a hard time for us to lose one of the best Jamaican footballers that we've ever seen.
Yes, indeed. A sad week in the Ball Chat family as we lost the one and only, the magisterial Luton Shelton. We'll definitely highlight Luton Shelton's career in the first segment of the show. We definitely want to big up his contribution to the program over the years, and want to implore football family members, those of you who are joining us on Ball Chat YouTube page, or Flow Sports YouTube page, our Ball Chat Facebook page, to chime in and take part in the discussion, to send on comments or questions or statements that you have about Luton Shelton. So we'll discuss Luton Shelton's life and legacy at the top of the show. We'll then segue to discuss the FA Cup and a mini crisis at Liverpool. Liverpool corner look dark as Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool seems to be in a spot of bother. We'll also discuss the JFF and President Michael Ricketts as he tried to chart a new course in terms of discussing salaries with the players and salary negotiations, as we have Gold Cup and World Cup qualifiers coming up later on this year. And we'll all wrap up the show at the back end with Yard Ballers highlighting Jamaican players' performance overseas. But we start off the top of the show, of course, with the sad news this week regarding Luton's passing. As Kamon alluded to, he suffered from ALS, 35 years old. Former Wolmer's player. Junior is away today, and he's a Wolmer's alumni like Junior, and Junior would have more to say about Luton as a Wolmer's graduate. Played for Harborview. Harborview scored more than a goal a game, 44 goals in 43 appearances for Luton at Harborview. So come on, let's take this time to celebrate Luton Shelton and what he has done for the program. I mean, quite an impactful player in terms of his contribution. Scored 35 goals in his short-lived Jamaican career.
Yeah, will we see somebody as prolific as Luton Shelton, in our program? Will we ever see someone like that? But as I said, he represented us the best of his ability, for a Jamaican to play in Russia, in Turkey, England, and then you could see the outpouring of love. I mean, everybody is complaining that the JFF has not said anything on their social media. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
But JFF has not posted anything on their social media pages since last November. So maybe they need to find an intern. You want them to say they can't take one person out of the unemployed in Jamaica and use them. Them can borrow shit me intern because that person is funny. They can borrow the JPS intern, somebody to kind of run the program, at least put something out there. Yes, the CONCACAF put some out there, FIFA, Valerenga, Sheffield. You have all these people. NBC post something out there about Luton, but JFF has not. It's not even a good look. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to do something special. And I think the Premier League in Jamaica should also do something special. I mean, maybe there's going to be a trophy named after. Maybe the prize is going to be named. Maybe a stadium. Maybe, something, a field, a stand. Something needs to be done to honor Luton. And I know Babsy Grange is very big, when it comes to honoring our athletes. So I'm expecting Babsy to actually step up and do something to honor Luton.
Yes, really, really sad moment. I mean, his Luton, as you said, he played for Harvard. As we mentioned earlier, played for Harvard. Started his career at Harvard. Interestingly, in an interview with FIFA.com in 2013, Luton says, quote, "I was one of the worst players in my neighborhood when I was a kid. My friends would laugh at me when we played on the corner. They made me play goalkeeper most of the time," end quote. And that was Luton Shelton, a player who was very humble. I remember seeing him play here in Atlanta in a friendly game. And one of the things that you've always heard about him is that he always took the time to really sign autographs and really sign the jersey for fans. It was really, truly very, very impressive on his part. Always taking that time to really spend time with the fans.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too, because you have these footballers, some of them that don't take the time to give back to the community. They don't take the time to kind of reach back and help, the younger generation. But he was never that person. And I think I saw where Karen Madden was alluding to one time she wanted to do an interview, and yes, he said, I would, but I'm mature course. And that's the kind of person that he is. He would always take the time out to speak to somebody, to offer encouraging words. Even when he was going through, his illness, you could hear stories about him trying to still, talk to people and encourage them. So, it is sad when somebody loses their life at 35, but you can see the impact that Luton Shelton had, when it came to football and outside of football. And that should actually spark a conversation. It should actually spark a movement to say that, you're never too young to kind of shine your light on this world. So it's really, really touching when you see the outpouring of love from all corners of the world for our little Jamaican, yes, Shelton. So, I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, so, Michael Starboy-Roper was saying, rest in peace, true baller. And Jason Leo is saying, JFF is a party shop. Please don't have your hopes up when it comes to them. Listen, I think everybody can change. And I do think that the JFF is listening to the backlash that is really happening out there. And I think they want to change, and they're starting with the players. Tapa did come out and say something, which, as a footballer, Gregory Messam, you can see that he puts this tribute up, and other players, other footballers have talked about it. Damian Lowe, Lovell Palmer, Carrie Stevenson, everybody, they've come out to say what their fondest memories are of Luton, and that's really good to see.
Yeah. I mean, and in life, we can do our part, and Luton did his thing. Like he said, he wasn't the most talented player, but one thing you always really attributed to him is the ability to work. His pace was really lightning fast. He scored 9 goals for Helsingborg when he played for them, and when he joined the Blades and Sheffield United. When he joined Sheffield United fans often spoke about the fact that his pace was very, very threatening for teams. He scored that goal against Man City in the FA Cup to knock out Man City in the FA Cup. So it's really sad, and to be so young, 35 years old, and also the thing that I really admire about him, and we unfortunately we saw Barrington Gaynor suffered with a similar illness years ago, but Luton made this illness public to the nation, so others can learn and grow about this. You know, I mean, there's some footballers who will be more private about this than want themselves to be seen. But he was always receptive to let people know about his ailments, so that you know it's people can learn and grow from it. So what a player! This was a sad news. I mean, it was sad. Come on, it was really sad. Your most memorable moment, the goal that he scored against the U.S. Was that the most memorable moment to beat the U.S.?
Yeah, any goal score against the US is one of my moments. I grew up watching the Caribbean Cup, and he would outshine the other players when he came to, the Caribbean Cup. And we talk about it. I mean, when you talk about Jamaican players, they're attributed to it's attributed to strength and speed. And he had both of those things that made him an attractive footballer. And the fact that we could count on him to score a goal when we really need, a goal scored. So, there are so many different moments. I was really, really proud because, the Caribbean, people from the Caribbean really don't venture out, like to Turkey and Russia, so I was really, really proud that he decided to come out of the box and go somewhere else and fly the Jamaican flag really high.
Yeah, so the big up BM says, Benton, I disagree. Name me another Jamaican forward who is as gifted except Fuller. And those are not my words. The quote earlier was from Luton himself, BM Luton. He said he was not the most gifted player. Those are his actual words. I thought Luton was good at what he did. He know his strengths, he know his attributes. He would make the runs. When you watch him at Sheffield United, when he played in the EPL, you watch him in Turkey, he would make the runs. So he knew his strength. I mean, and when you watch him in live games, you really, truly, I'm actually shocked that he didn't go into track, because he could compete in the track world. I mean, this is how quick he is, or was. So those are not my words, BM, but he was just the humility of Luton Shelton. Come on, it was just sad hearing the news and then what this family has gone through, knowing that his father tragically passed away last year too.
Yeah, but ALS is a disease that you kind of know the outcome, but you kind of hope for the best. And it was just one of those things that you knew, that he was going through. You knew he was soldiering through, and you're just hoping that, at any moment there would be a breakthrough that could kind of slow it down, or, maybe help reverse it. You never know. Things happen. But just to really, you know, die at 35, it 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 it, it is heartbreaking. It is sad. And people will say, a lot of people die at 35. But this is someone who represented Jamaica, and I think that he deserves, um, something big. I really do. I think if them can name the Premier League, something going on, a tournament or something, I think he should be remembered and he should be revered as someone that actually helped Jamaica to be on the path that we are.
Yeah, former club Sheffield United said, the condolences of all the Blades are with Luton's family at this difficult time. CONCACAF tweeted out, CONCACAF is deeply saddened to learn that Luton Shelton has passed away. He was Jamaica's all-time top goal scorer and played in 3 Gold Cups. And of course, the president and the Prime Minister himself, Andrew Holness, says, my heart goes out to the family, friends, and fans of former reggae boy Luton Shelton, who passed away. He bravely battled ALS, more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Sad, sad day of reggae boy's family. I mean, but thank you for the wonderful memories, Luton. And is there any plans afoot, as you know, come on, because you keep your ears to the ground regarding Jamaican football? Any plans afoot for fans to support or contribute? Because I can't imagine that the cost of medical care for the Shelton family has been quite large over the last few years. Is there anything that fans can do to help with this, with the service and stuff, as you know?
I haven't heard anything. And I know a couple players, I've heard that a couple players have reached out to him. So I'm not sure his wife, Bobette, would be the best person to speak on it. And I do hope that if the family needs help, I do hope that, they ask for it. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they should ask for it. I think Babsy should already have a check ready or say, you know what, we're going to cover, um, the cost because we know how expensive it has been during his illness. So I haven't heard anything, but I'll surely let my Ballchat family know if I hear anything, how we can support Luton's family going forward because he has 3 children. Bobette is, they're still together. They were before he died. So I know they might need maybe not only monetary support, but maybe a kind word. So, it is really, really sad and heart wrenching. So hopefully we'll hear something that we can share.
Luton George Kashan Shelton left his mark. Come on, left his mark. What a player! What a player! Um, it's when I heard the news on Friday, I'm still shocked by the passing. I mean, even though, like we said, we knew the illness was debilitating, and we knew that it really have a significant impact on those who are affected. So whatever we can do, Reggae Boys family, let's put our arms around the Shelton family and try to help them through. And hopefully, we're not waiting on the JFF. Whatever we can do, if the family needs some support, like Kamon said, we'll go ahead and announce it. But we'll celebrate the life and legacy of one Mr. Luton Shelton, remembering that magisterial goal that he scored against USA on September 2nd, against the one Mr. Tim Howard, as Jamaica defeated USA 2-1. First time in 19 attempts. That was very impressive. Jamaica's leading goal scorer. Rest in peace, General. Rest in peace. Come on, any final statement on Luton? Any final parting words as we move on to a different segment? I know it's a bit sad, but we have to honor and respect the General.
Just that we should always strive to be our best. We should always support each other. And we should always try to do good when we can do good. Because you never know what will happen. You never know what past life will take us on. You never know when it's our time. Because trust me, 35 is young. So we just have to be the best people that we actually can.
Exactly. Couldn't say it any better. All right, moving away from the tragic passing and sad passing of Luton Shelton to other major news that took place in the world of football. No ballers and bugs this week. We're gonna, return to ballers and bugs next week. We're gonna discuss some other major news that took place in the world of football. Come on, FA Cup. It was all about FA Cup this weekend on the English Isles. Big game was Manchester United defeating Liverpool. Liverpool is in a spot of bother, but your thoughts on that Manchester United victory? Bruno Fernandes scored a sumptuous goal at the end. Your thoughts?
You know what? I don't know if we should say Liverpool is in panic mode at the moment. People will say it's only the FA Cup, but everybody want to win. I thought it was a good enough game. As usual, Maguire had his off game. But the fact that the news is saying that Bruno was told that he would not be starting versus Liverpool, and he spent 30 to 40 minutes on the training ground practicing a free kick, only to come score the free kick to come be the winner. So is it a case where Liverpool played poorly and Man U played better? I don't even know. I say it's a little bit of luck, but it is luck on Man U side. Pogba, I don't know. Pogba playing for a contract or Pogba playing for a big contract at a different club. But the Pogba for the last 2 games have been 100% better Pogba. Today he was a good player. So I don't know. Liverpool scoring. Trent had an off day today. They need a goal. They bring in Origi. I don't even know. I don't know if Klopp is losing his touch or Liverpool needs to bring in a defender or two. But I want to say they're in panic mode. Just something is just off. The Liverpool fan that I live with, he says his team tired. Like a his team alone player, but him say him team tired. So after them get a little break, they'll be rejuvenated and come back stronger.
Yeah, and I think there's some legitimacy to that, the team being exhausted, and we'll get to that in a second as we'll discuss Liverpool a little bit further, because they had that 68 games home unbeaten run ended in the EPL as Burnley defeat them in the middle of the week. But just to wrap up in our FA Cup news, Chelsea progressed. Man City was a bit threatened, but I want to get your thoughts on Phil Foden. You were not sold on him, but he seems to be the difference maker for Man City, at least in yesterday's FA Cup game. Come on.
I'm still not sold on Phil Foden. Maybe because Pep crowned him heir apparent. Yes. So I kind of bristled at that because he's not. I don't see it.
What you don't see about him? What is the issue that he? What is the thing that he's still lacking?
I think he's okay, right? I think he's okay. Let us see how he does without a Kevin, right? I don't know if I am 100% sold on Phil Foden. That being said, though, I think Manchester City is rounding the corner. I think they're finding their form. The game was interesting. It was okay. We expected them to win. I expected them to win because they've been playing well the last 2 games. So Phil, I think with I keep calling him Klopp, with Pep, he said patience was key with Phil, and I think now Foden is kind of coming into his own.
I think he's a huge asset to Kevin De Bruyne. And, I've advocated heavily for him to play in passing conversations with friends. And the main reason is this: if you have a player as talented as Phil Foden is, he was MVP of the Under-17 World Cup, and Pep earmarked him as the David Silva heir apparent. You need to give him time on the park. And for me, the time that Pep Guardiola has had him on the bench while the team was struggling has been quite idiotic, because when you play Kevin De Bruyne and everyone else around him is ineffective, then Kevin De Bruyne will attract all that defensive pressure, and he's not very good in terms of with too much attention. So I think Phil Foden is a huge asset to them in terms of trying to help move the team forward. Other quick roundup is in terms of the FA Cup, your Chelsea won. I mean, but Timo Werner can't seem to buy a goal.
Listen to me. First of all, we should even make the team score, Panway. So that's one thing I'm like, we're not ready. Tammy scored a hat trick and everybody is celebrating. Really? I mean, like, okay, let's be fair. Timo Werner had a good enough game today. He was making his runs. He was being in the right places. And I think if he continues, the goals will come. But
next year?
We still have only per game leave this year. So I think the goals will come. And I think he was okay today. But I'm not even celebrating because with that little DVD beside.
They deliberately gave him the penalty because they wanted him to get some confidence going, and he missed it.
That never worked. If anything, it gone right through the roof. So all I know. So Starboy Roper said, Michael Starboy said both defenses were off today, but Liverpool is not themselves lately. Conrad Tully said, come on, Liverpool dead. Man United all the way. And Michael Starboy said Foden is a difference maker, just give him time. And Tully is saying that Liverpool has run out of steam and everybody figured them out. So, even what's the name? Raldo Haynes is saying that Foden is a real general. So Michael Starboy is saying Timo is being used wrong. How can we use Timo Werner? What more can we do? Like we say, they are penalty here. Go score a goal on Palapestas. What more should Chelsea do? And tell us, where do you think Timo should be played? since he's not being utilized properly.
Okay, and come on, the comments are up, so you don't have to read them. Yes, you don't have to look down and read it. So and Leicester City also progress. Man City will play Swansea in the next round. Manchester United looking quite impressive. Does Manchester United is the favorite, do you think, to win this FA Cup? Come on, based on what you're seeing.
I think they're even the favorite to win the Premier League.
We'll get to the Premier League in a second, but
Yeah, I see a team clicking. I see a team, the confidence level is so high with Man U. Even when they make a mistake, somebody covers for somebody. The goal that Liverpool scored to equalize is completely on Fridge, Harry Maguire, right?
yes.
But you saw where the other players were a little bit ticked, but they didn't let it deter them. So I see a team effort with Man U, and I think they're legitimate challengers for the Premier League title. And it's kind of weird because they were down a gully and everybody was Ole out, and all of a sudden it's Ole in.
So it's very, the PE teacher has turned the corner apparently, as Ole was described by some who were very critical of him earlier on as he struggled at Manchester United, but he seemed to have weathered the storm, have the team playing top-notch football. Moving away from the FA Cup to the EPL, we had some big EPL games in the week. Come on, not only that Chelsea lost to Leicester City, but Burnley did the unthinkable. They defeated Liverpool 1-0. A heated Klopp and Sean Dyche seemed to almost going to go to fisticuffs in the tunnel. Liverpool, that defeat to Burnley ended Liverpool's 68 games unbeaten run. They couldn't surpass the Chelsea mark of 86 games unbeaten run in the Premier League. Mini crisis, come on. What is the issue with Liverpool? What do you think is the problem? LD, your husband, says that he thinks they're exhausted, but what do you see as a problem? They're struggling to win games and score goals of late, even though Mohamed Salah scored 2 goals today.
I see a team that's lacking a little bit of confidence. I think, they're so used to be high flying that once like them wing get clipped, it's like they're all over the place. Klopp was usually a calm coach where he was always smiling. He was the players' coach. He wouldn't get it into any altercation on the sidelines. But no, every week is like Klopp and somebody, having issues like, I was like, so he's under pressure. But I do not see Liverpool imploding. I really don't see it. I think they do need to go out there and get a defender because Virgil is exercising, but I don't think he's going to be ready to come back to, be implemented in the system again. So I do think that they need to go out there and get maybe 1 or 2 pieces. I don't know if they need strikers because I do think they still have the great front three. I just think they're lacking confidence for now. But I do think that Liverpool is a good enough team that they can just brush it off and just get them going.
So, but therein lies the problem, right? And how can a team that has achieved so much, they've been going full tilt for about 2-3 years, Champions League team, EPL team, lack confidence? Come on, who pretty much beat the brakes off everybody? How can they be lacking confidence?
No, but it's just like you have a 80 million pound midfielder and he has not been having good games for 5 games in a row. And then when you see him in the 6th game, his body language is off. I mean, it happens. I mean, people and team lack confidence. They know it's not a sure thing anymore if they go down a goal to equalize or come back and win. It's not sure anymore. I remember Junior likes to talk about Liverpool playing heavy metal football. It's like when Barcelona was playing tiki-taka football and nobody could touch them. After a while, people figured them out and it wasn't that great kind of football anymore. It's the same thing like Liverpool. Burnley had a game plan and Burnley stuck to the game plan. Burnley don't get rattled or anything, and I think that it was well deserved. So I see where Liverpool is used to being the man on the pitch per se, and they're not the man on the pitch anymore. And if the coach is rattled, the players will get rattled. So I guess when them get a little DVD side like a Chelsea and give them 8, I do think that the confidence will come back.
In fact, I think Chelsea would love to play Liverpool right about now. But yeah. But Klopp alluded to, Klopp made a comment in a pre-game presser for the FA Cup, says he's not in charge of transfers. It was never him that was in charge of transfer. What is going on with Jurgen Klopp? I mean, yes, we all know he's not in charge of transfers, but clearly he has influenced who the team signed over the years while he's in charge.
Klopp is just being I don't know. He's just being petty and spiteful and childish. I just think he's in his feelings. Because yes, scouts go out there, but coaches actually have to work with the scouts. It's not like, remember when Chelsea bring in Pulisic, and Sarri was like, I don't know him. And we were looking at it was like Chelsea a party shop, because a coach is supposed to know a player and is supposed to fit in his system. So Klopp can make suggestions, and I doubt that the scouts will go out there and bring a player in that Klopp don't want. So he's just being petty and being ridiculous right now.
Yeah, so to the 68 games unbeaten run, is it a good thing to put up on Liverpool? And we'll go to the EPL table in a second. They get ready to play Spurs this week in the EPL. Is it a good thing that they're out of the FA Cup? Less matches for them, and I think there's this notion of Liverpool not necessarily of Klopp not using his entire squad. My biggest issue with him is that he has these players, but sometimes he doesn't play them. He's consistently stick to the same front three. If Divock Origi is not good enough, then you should have gone out and gotten somebody who is good enough. But you cannot have Divock Origi as a backup and he's sitting on the bench, and occasionally when he does play, he misses sitters. But go out and get better players. You have to use your entire squad. Minamino, I think he played against Crystal Palace, did well in that Crystal Palace game, but he doesn't get any playing time since then. So is there an issue with Klopp not using his entire squad, or is he one of those coaches that like to use 13 or so players and that's it? I know Nuno Espirito has spoken about having a small squad and uses. Is that, you see that an issue now biting Jurgen Klopp in the butt?
No, it never bite him last season. I mean, the same formula. So I remember we talk about it now. Klopp is one of those coaches that if something is working, he doesn't want to change it. So he's forced to actually go out there and bring in some players that actually not in the inner circle, and you can't see that. I think he is a loyal coach, right? So I think if you serve him well last season, I think he wants to stick with you because he knows the quality.
But and sometimes doing people like Origi any service having him sit on the bench.
But Origi served him well in Champions League. Origi served him well in Champions League. So but we talk about this already about loyalty, and Klopp is one of those coaches. I think that he rewards loyalty, right? He likes his players, them like him, he wants them to play for him. But we always talk about selection of players, and my son plays football, so we kind of have a conversation about selection of players, and we are not at training. So maybe the players that we see on the bench are the ones who don't have a good training. I don't even know. But I think that Klopp is using the players that he thinks will serve him well.
All right, fair enough. Let's get to the EPL table in a second. But
hold on, the comments up. Yeah. It on the screen.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on. There you go. Comments are up.
So Michael Starboy is saying you can't expect a man not mentally stable to score any form of goal, penalty or not. I agree with that a little bit, but Timo Werner is not an academy player. He's not a youth player. He's a professional player who scored millions of goals over stuff. So I would think that brush himself off and do what you have to do for the team. I understand that.
So,
Bubba
so
Peter,
wait,
Liverpool, all right. Chelsea can beat me not. First of all, Bubba, calm down. Calm down. Chelsea around it. Every time we score a trick today, stop it. The club has fallen for the trap trying to play mind games with United. Wrong move, Jurgen. Maybe. Timo, Timo should be sent on break to get his mind together. So hold a second. So after all that money that Chelsea pay for him, we must pay for Timo go on vacation to get his mind right.
yeah, that's what I'm curious to know. And what else can you do if you give him penalty and he's missing it? Then what more can you do? I mean,
No, Michael Starboy said, give him a break. Listen to me. He gets too much money to go on break. He needs to come out there and perform to the best of his ability. I don't know what it's about him. That's about Timo Werner. Wait, that's about Kai. Kai need a mental break.
I will say that if regarding the Timo, it would be nice to use him with a two-striker setup system, but I mean they need to figure that out. Let's look at the EPL table, and speaking of Chelsea and Timo Werner, Leicester City beat the brakes off Chelsea in the middle of the week. Come on, should we be taking Leicester City seriously?
Oh my God, you want 3 points, God, Chelsea. That's all I'm saying. A good thing, I always say that my side is blue. I never say if I light blue or dark blue. I was rooting for Leicester because Leicester was, I don't know what Chelsea was doing. We looked like academy players. Taking Leicester seriously, I don't know. I think at your own peril. I just think they're not consistent enough. And they did what they had to do. When you get a team that is giving away 3 points, you take their 3 points. And I think that's what Leicester did. But to really think that they're title contenders or maybe top 3, I think that's a bridge too far, sir.
And so Leicester City, I mean, I don't know, James Maddison is really truly a confident player, playing quite well for them. So he's definitely scoring some goals. He also scored in the FA Cup. Man City and Manchester United changed the leads this week in the EPL. Man City has a game in hand. Liverpool plays Spurs this Thursday. Your thoughts on that game? Spurs should beat Liverpool after that first encounter, right?
Maybe. I mean, or Liverpool does fit themselves. Yeah, but listen, and that's the thing too. We talk about consistency.
Yes.
Maybe Liverpool go in and brush them shoulder off and pick themselves over the floor and come back and beat the brakes off Spurs. The problem with Spurs is that Spurs is a 2-man team. Basically, when you really talk about, not even Gareth Bale, because he might warm the bench. He is a complete and utter bench warmer. You talk about Son and you talk about Kane. When you talk about Liverpool, there are so many different players that you can get a game-winning goal from that you really can't count them out. And I think Spurs is just not a good enough team for us to really say that's an automatic 3 points. So I am putting my money on Liverpool to beat Spurs 2-1.
So wait, hold on. Spurs, Liverpool lost to Burnley at home, and you're still going to think, after the loss to Burnley, Jurgen Klopp says he hopes that this loss was the turnaround that Liverpool needs. And they lost to Manchester United today in the FA Cup. Maybe this is the turnaround. How can you still think that Liverpool is going to go to Spurs and beat them knowing that Jose Mourinho is in charge?
Listen, anything can happen.
Not Liverpool. Liverpool.
I mean, anything can happen. Listen, as I said, Spurs is not consistent enough for me to really say that yes, it's a done deal. And teams have already gotten their butts whooped and come back kind of turn around. So I think Liverpool still have the quality to do that.
Okay. Speaking of teams that are, maybe it's a good thing to get knocked out of the FA Cup. Arsenal got knocked out of the FA Cup by Southampton. That's a good thing, right? Arsenal cannot juggle two different tournaments at the moment, right? Come on. Arsenal sitting in what, 10th or 11th in the EPL?
You keep saying it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Arsenal, no, it's not, because Arsenal is not going to win the Premier League. At least they should have tried to win the FA Cup. At least they should have tried to hold on to this chimney, because they're not going to win the Premier League. So they know their season is going to be all for naught. Not today. When they lost to Southampton yesterday, Pepe was the scapegoat. They wanted to kill Pepe. They wanted to take back the money that they paid for Pepe. But not only, it wasn't Pepe. Willian. I love Willian. But I think Willian is not the answer that Arsenal thought that
clearly he's not.
So I think Chelsea got away with one. It's like, so Arsenal should ask for a full refund for Willian.
And
I just don't know. 1 minute, Arsenal look as if they're doing better, they're improving, and then you come and you lose Liverpool B team. It's like I don't know.
But
listen, I can't be sorry for Arsenal, because I have to be sorry for my team.
But interestingly though, come on, and regarding Arsenal, Mikel Arteta didn't even sub Pepe or Willian. He kept Bakary Saka on the bench for quite a while, put him on late, and he triggered something for them. It seems like he's saying that, his first team is for the EPL is Bakary Saka and Smith Rowe when they're available, and Pepe and Williams are the backup of the world. Is that what you...
Hey, so let's get through some of the because the chat full of Man U, Liverpool, and Arsenal fans. So it's a Chelsea average side top 10. Rather stop it. So yes, Tully, every blue team Carricker blue on my color. So Kevin Leslie is saying that they lost to an informed team, which is true. Man U is informed, and one of the hardest things to do is to beat a team that is informed.
But when you have a man like Pogba, they lost to Burnley, and Burnley wasn't informed. Burnley is sitting down in the relegation. Burnley is not a team informed. So what?
Burnley won on a penalty. Let us give the people them. Let us give them a break.
So let's not give this comment about we lost to an informed team. You've lost the informed team when you lost to teams that are not informed. Liverpool is in crisis.
So Kevin Leslie, so Benton disagrees with you. So, why Man U never beat we last week when FA Cup? FA Cup is not our league. Bubba, every league should be your league. Everybody wants to win a trophy. Conrad Tully is saying that Manchester United will be the EPL winner. That is still to be seen. Benton, do you agree with that?
No, I don't think Manchester United will win. We don't hand out trophies after 19 games in the EPL. It's a 38 games season, Conrad Tully. I mean, ultimately, if Manchester United can carry this thing for 38 games, the majority of those games, but they don't hand out mid-season award. They still have to worry about Man City pushing up against them. And Man City have a game in hand. So if Man City does win that game in hand, they will take the lead. So calm down.
Man City is informed. So Ralda is saying that Arsenal is not a joke. A top 5 team spot is in the league for them and not FA Cup. Since when? FA Cup was always Arsenal's thing. So all of a sudden, FA Cup, you're not going to win the Premier League. So at least get a trophy. So, a healthy Arsenal can finish top 5. You agree with that, Benton?
No, so the problem with that question is, no, not a healthy Arsenal can finish top 5. You need an informed Willian to contribute, because I don't expect Smith Rowe and Bakary Saka to carry this team. They've been carrying the team of late. Smith Rowe,
and it's unfair.
Yes,
it's unfair. It's really unfair to them when you have all the high flying players. Them who it's not fair. Michael Starboy said it's the truest thing ever. Willian is not good enough for even Portmore United.
I don't even think he's good enough for Renan. Renan is playing 4th division in Jamaican football. So, I mean, he has the talent. Don't get me wrong. Willian definitely is a talented footballer, but I will criticize Willian just like all players who are talented but they show up, and sometimes they don't show up. And if I am Smith Rowe or Bakary Saka, I need some of Nicolas Pepe money because he's getting too much money for the return on that investment, where those kids are not getting any money and they're carrying. But I think for Arsenal, Gabriel Martinelli, hopefully he can regain some of that old form. I know he had that nasty injury, and if he can regain that old form, because you're going to need somebody to help with the goal scoring, and I think he could be a useful asset for them.
I think I was seeing a stat where they're saying that Willian has 2 shots on goal or something like that for the Inter. I mean, like, my sister always complain about it, and I always tell her that she's so hard on Willian when she say, Willian holds on to the ball too long and he slows the play down.
Yes,
exactly. For a guy of his age, he's still very quick. So when he disrupts the play, it is frustrating. So I'm not sure what Arteta is going to do. And the fact that they still have faith in Arteta, I don't know if it is bothersome, but as me say, my side of them own problems, I don't have time to worry about Arsenal.
So Manchester United are at the top. They're the team leading. Do you think they will win the EPL?
They can.
Southampton can too, but will they?
No. I think Manchester City will retain the title. I do think that Manchester City will win, even though Kevin De Bruyne is out with an injury. And hold on, 1-2. Aguero.
No, yeah.
Still injured?
Yeah, I don't expect Sergio Aguero to come back anytime soon. He's still having trouble with that knee. And if he does return...
Retirement? You think retirement's on the rise?
I think. So Raheem Sterling, Ferran Torres, Gabriel Jesus, Riyad Mahrez, they're all going to have to figure out a way to make up the goals that he scored. He would score for them. They're going to have to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, I think if Manchester United continues to play this way, it's going to be a really tight battle. And I would love, what year was it? 2016. What was the year? Well, my best year, I forgot the year.
Yeah.
What was the year, man, when Sir Alex Ticknam win 2015?
Oh, that year when Man City nipped them at the 20
at the end with QPR. Yeah. They were playing versus QPR. I want another season like that. I want it down to the wire, the final minutes in stoppage time. That's what I want between the two, man. And I think if they both continue to play like this, I think that's what we're going to do.
No, you said this earlier, and we need to move on from this yard ballers and touch some other major news in the world of football. But you said this earlier, the confidence that you see with Manchester United is really immense. Paul Pogba has the swagger, and the addition of Edson Cavani is really huge because now you have a goal poacher, and now people like Anthony Martial can just rest on his laurels. So it's they're the flavor of the month. Let's see, but we don't hand out trophy at midweek in mid-season in the EPL. Moving away from the EPL, let's touch some other major news in the world of football. We will touch some MLS news quickly. Come on, let's discuss some news in our own backyard. DC United is now have Lozado as coach. Phil Neville is now the coach of Inter Miami. David Beckham went to painstakingly said that he's not in the business of hiring his friends. We'll discuss that briefly. And Atlanta United hired Gabriel Heinze as a coach. A lot of coaching, a lot of movements in coaches, and Greg Vanney is now at LA Galaxy in MLS. Initial read on these coaches that come in. Who you think will make the biggest impact in the team that they've gotten in charge of?
I think Chris Armas of Toronto, because he has the players, the good players. I think, I don't know if I give Phil Neville enough props. I don't know if he deserves it. And what your boy Beckham must say, first of all, who Beckham interview? Nice try, Beckham. So in bringing Phil, Gerard Struber for New York Red Bulls, Greg Vanney for LA Galaxy. I think LA Galaxy, Inter Miami, and Toronto will actually, do well for new coaches. But you can't not say that some of the coaches that we already have, like you have Columbus Crew, what's his name?
Caleb Porter. Yeah.
Caleb,
Yeah.
so you have those coaches that are really good coaches as well. So
Come on,
I am
and
excited about the DC United signing. He's one of the youngest coach in MLS.
yes.
He's the only coach who has no ties to the US. He was coach of the Belgium First Division.
Yes.
He was a player as well. So I have high hopes for DC, and I think MLS is really doing well in bringing in good qualified coaches, and also bringing in good qualified players.
Yes, yes, very good move by the MLS. Come on, you conveniently said you didn't mention Gabriel Heinze, now in charge of Atlanta United, so I'll go ahead and say it. In the ATL, we're excited. We're very excited. We're concerned about our coaching turnover in the ATL, and we don't expect, at least I don't expect Gabriel Heinze to hang around for a very long time in Atlanta. I expect him to do a couple of years, hopefully win a couple of trophies, and then move on. But we're very excited. It's very, very much a very exciting vibes in Atlanta. A lot better than Frank de Boer when Frank de Boer was hired. Your early read on Gabriel Heinze being in charge of Atlanta United?
I just want to lose every game. And especially when you play against DC United.
We did that last year.
But yeah, but Atlanta always go out there. They always get good coaches. They always spend a whole bunch of money only for kind of falter. So I don't expect this to be any different.
Well, Atlanta don't always spend money to falter. We've been MLS champions for a few years. One of the quick news for a year or so, we were MLS champion for a year. So don't this the big side. Come on, quickly. Jordan Morris is moving from Seattle Sounders for a loan deal, quote loan deal to Swansea. Do you expect him to make an impact? I mean, he's been an impact player for Seattle Sounders.
I don't know. Some players who shine in MLS and then go somewhere else and they kind of struggle. I see him as a Josie Altidore kind of player, and Josie Altidore never really had much success there as well. So I don't know. I really don't know. Swansea, the best fit for him maybe is a championship side that's looking to be promoted. They need a goal scorer. Will he adjust? I guess the weather is the same in Seattle, so maybe that, and he's a little bit more mature versus earlier when everybody wanted him to go and he wanted to stay home. So he's a good enough player. And everybody gets a chance. Same with Almiron. Your Almiron, he was a very good player in MLS, but then he went over in Newcastle now and he's fizzling. So not to say that's going to happen to Jordan,
yes,
but
yes.
It's just different leagues, different environment, and different playing style.
Okay, indeed. We'll watch what happened with Jordan Morris and move on. Moving away from the MLS to try to touch some other news in our backyard to discuss JFF, Jamaican Football Federation.
Before we do that, remember I was talking about Mexican Chucky Lozano?
Yes.
His opening goal today versus Verona was in 8.9 seconds, the third fastest goal in Serie A history and Napoli's fastest ever goal, but they lost 3-1.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, how did the game end?
I still have to pick up my Chucky because he's from CONCACAF.
Napoli lost the game, was 3-1 to Verona after that goal. But yeah, big up to Chucky Lozano, Irvino Lozano doing well. Step into the JFF and Jamaican football before we get to Yard Ballers. Come on, Jeff President Michael Ricketts in a virtual meeting or virtual presentation with the Rotary Club this week says, quote, what we want the players to understand is that we will never be able to pay a player for what he is worth or for his value. We are not in the position, we will never be in the position to pay them what they are worth, end quote. Michael Ricketts also announced that David Cameron, former president of the West Indies Cricket Board, has come on board or join a panel to help maybe negotiate salaries. I don't know, but your thoughts on these comments by Mr. Michael Ricketts. They will never be able to play the players what they were. And the fact that they bring in Dave Cameron, former West Indies Cricket Board president, into the fold to help.
First of all, anything we do with West Indies cricket need for dash way. I said the first thing, we stop watch them. We don't want vent, but through the football show, I'm gonna leave West Indies cricket team alone. So in bringing Sartness from West Indies cricket now, gone over JFF, so focus Sartness. Okay. I wish the JFF would hire a PR person so President Ricketts stop speaking. President Ricketts, we understand. We know there is no money, but can you please get a PR person that can smooth out the comments, smooth out all the information that you need to get out to the public so we don't think that you're trying to pull a fast one. I don't know where you're going, one boy from West Indies, because it's not going to help you. But I wish he would have a PR person, because I don't think that's the message that he wants to convey. We don't, and I don't know why the contract negotiations are playing out in public. I just don't understand it. Can we get a PR person kind of like smooth it over and just give us the info at the end?
Come on, you know why it's playing out in public? Because we don't want it recorded. We don't want anyone to record it. But yeah, we're very concerned about the contract negotiations taking out it being played out in public. Mr. Ricketts claims, Dave Cameron does have a vast experience in the business world. Some will attribute some professionalization or professionalism being brought to West Indies cricket by Mr. Cameron. But I mean, he's also had a very strong reputation of being non-negotiable on some things. So I don't know what to make of it. My only question is, if they don't have any money, is people like Dave Cameron working for free? Is this volunteer service?
Hey, must. It's like we don't hear contract negotiation issues with other federations. I don't like it. Let's just not do it. I'm just like, just deal with the players them. If the JFF deals with the players them accordingly, you won't hear any disruption. Nobody would be unhappy. Nobody would have to record anything. Nobody would have to leak anything. Nobody have to say anything. Just do the right thing. Bringing somebody in to do the same thing that you have been doing or saying the same thing that you have been saying, it don't make it any different. Just pay the players something that you guys negotiate on. I understand you don't have money and players are not unreasonable, right? So if you agree to pay $200, that's an example, I don't know, $200, then you stick to the agreement and pay them on time. Simple.
Mr. Ricketts also said that it's hard to make those agreements because sometimes a sponsor may not honor their agreements. So we'll watch that space. The Reggae Boys get ready for CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers coming up later on this year and the Gold Cup competition. Come on, yard ballers. Do we have any Reggae Boys that got drafted in the MLS Super Draft?
Yeah. So we have Justin McMaster. He was drafted number 17 to Minnesota United. He was a striker at Wake Forest. Then you have Javane Brown. He was drafted 23rd to Vancouver Whitecaps. He was a right back from University of South Florida. So we have one more player, Jameel Waite, I think, who did not get drafted, but that does not mean that he cannot get a contract further down. So congrats to those two young men. JFF Gensec is hoping for Reggae Boys UK camp despite COVID in England. I don't know what's going to work. We have a camp in a COVID time in England. I don't think Boris will allow you to do that. So Ricketts is saying that he's hopeful that the Premier League will get going soon. They still have not had a meeting with Tufton or Babsy, so I don't know what you guys are doing. He says he's expecting the government to say something to them in a matter of days. And then he's also saying that the season will be shortened. It will not be the same amount of games that we're used to. They're going to be playing less games if they get the season off and running in February. So they're waiting on that to start. So I wanted to also say the owner and founder of Constant Spring FC, Maurice Danny Lynn, has passed away. If you know football and you know Danny Lynn, you know he was an integral part of football. He made things happen for Constant Spring FC. He made sure his players were okay. He made sure that the game what did not come in disrepute. He was a good person. And my condolences to his family and also his friends.
Yeah.
Siobhan Marsh and Craig Foster have signed 1-year deals in the El Salvadorian top division. So, everybody they're venturing out, trying to make some money, and I hope everything goes well for them. Dane Kelly, everybody knows Dane Kelly. He has finally left the USL and he has signed a 1-year deal in Israeli top flight. So good luck to him as well. Our own Khadija Body Shaw, she had a hat trick in her team's 7-1 drumming off on the Kadibidi beside. So she's now the leader and she thinks she's on 17 goals. So I think other teams they have their eye on her. Maybe Manchester United, Khadija Chelsea wants you, so that's Ropin. So I think they're doing well. Martin Davis continues to do well in the Maltese League. His team is doing really well. And I'm thinking that because he has a Canadian book, Canada should be looking at Martin because he's a good enough player to play for them as well. So that's my Yardballer report.
Martin, don't play for Canada. We need it for the Reggae Boys. Go easy, come on. Go easy. Come on, before we wrap up the show quickly, any word on Ravel Morrison? I mean, did he join a club or is just free roaming?
No, I heard that he is going to Turkey First Division. It's not 100% confirmed, but that's what I heard from my sources. So hopefully by the next ball chat, we'll have something concrete to say about Ravel. Ravel is like a Rolling Stone gathering no mass. What is this? It's 15 teams.
Yeah.
I was like, from a Manu, prodigy to somebody who cannot stick to a club. So I don't know, Ravel, if it's you or me or the club, or we don't know why or what's happening. And I also want to say Hector got a run out and them lose 3-0. I love Hector. I'm glad he represents Jamaica, but Hector, okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that he's getting some minutes, right? Because ultimately with the Reggae Boys, we need to try to get these players, not we, but the players.
But not minutes that make him look like a championship baller. Not those kind of minutes. I'd rather he sit on the bench and don't look like a little dibby defender than go on the pitch and look like a dibby defender.
Before we wrap up, I thought he was supposed to be going out to join a championship club. Is that not in the works anymore?
Maybe it's in the works. I haven't heard. And he should, because then he wants things. Unless he wants to stay at his club and fight for playing time. But, I mean, going to the championship and helping another team to get promoted, I mean, it's a good look, Mr. Hector.
Yeah. And plus, you need minutes on the field because World Cup qualifiers coming up. We cannot have players just showing up out of shape and not playing football.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. If we can't have players that showing up again out of the what? But I say again because we know that go. Tapper will call Michael Hector because his club is in England.
That is how exceptional Tapper Whitmore is. All right, football family. Let's wrap up the show. Ballchat family, we want to send our condolences once and for all again to Luton Shelton's family and friends. We ride and support that family through this rough time. It's been a rough week for the Reggae Boys family. Come on, if you hear anything about any sort of fundraiser or anything to raise funds, I know medical expense was pretty high for that family over the last few years. So let us know so we can spread the word, and those who can, I'm sure they will chime in or chip in to help that Shelton family. Ballchat family, if you want to connect or if you listen to the show, you can connect with us on Instagram at Ballchat Podcast. We're on Twitter at Ballchat1, Facebook at Ballchat. You can email us at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. Football family, stay safe. Come on, we're gonna run now, family. Bless up.
Bless up.